Halton. This is the sound of mechanic Terry making tax digital with Sage. Receipts snapped. Invoices saved. VAT sorted. Be ready to boss making tax digital. Get 3 months free Sage accounting software at sage.com. Renews from £12 a month. Terms and conditions apply.
I've watched you drive too fast just because we're a bit late.
I've seen you driving too close to the car ahead when we're on the way to school.
I've noticed when you try and make the lights, even when they're amber.
I thought you go too fast, so I get pushed back in the seat.
And I've seen you slam on the brakes to avoid hitting someone.
Dad! Watch your speed. Everyone else does.
To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973. 10 minutes before 9 is the time, so let's go to that idea. I said, your children listening to the radio, watching television, or looking at your newspapers, or just looking at papers themselves if they go through railway or bus stations. You see, in many cities and towns up and down the country, the Metro, and there's their... And this is not a criticism of the Metro, by the way, not a criticism at all. Vlad Nukes on standby, and he's a bit of a clumsy one, but even other newspapers that they might buy. Putin puts nuclear force on alert, Putin issues nuclear threat, or Putin puts nuclear force on high alert. Pretty troubling times for younger viewers, listeners, or readers, isn't it? So how do you handle this? Let's turn to Honey Lancaster-James, who's a social and behavioural psychologist and broadcaster. Okay, so your 8, 9, 10-year-old comes home and says, are we going to war? Are we all going to get blown up? What do you say? Good morning, honey.
Morning. It's a really difficult one, isn't it? And children, of course, are like sponges. They absorb things from all around. They're hearing things in the playground. They're hearing things on the news, on the radio. They're hearing your conversations, so they are going to get anxious. And it is a difficult one. The important thing to remember is that we tend to panic sometimes as parents and think that we have to come up with this magical solution to alleviate all of our children's anxieties and give them all these answers. And if anything, we have a tendency to overshare and over-discuss. And so one of the things I would say is very much be there to sort of contain and listen and hear your child, but don't feel the urge to try and change how they're feeling and change their view of everything. Because what can actually happen is that some parents with the best of intentions can end up sort of saying, oh, it's nothing to worry about. And that actually leads to a child feeling a bit invalidated. They think, oh, there must be something wrong with me that I feel anxious. So try not to do that. And the other thing is that we try to sort of, I wouldn't say lie, but we try to put things on things that we think is going to help. And then our children can feel confused and they can wonder whether they can trust us or not. So it's a really difficult balance, but it is about being honest, but at the same time, just going at your child's pace, letting them know that you're there to answer any questions they might have in a calm way, but also not going into too much detail. And then at the same time, being that safe, comforting presence that your child needs you to be, and giving them lots of hugs and cuddles, and then saying, you know what, this is a very, very long way away. Maybe look at a map together and point out how far away these things are. Talk about perhaps, to remember flying to Spain and how long that took. Well, this is even further away from that. That kind of thing can sometimes help so that they don't feel it's right on their doorstep.
And honey, if the child or children ask, what sort of man is Vladimir Putin, what do you say then?
Well, this is a difficult one because I think they will be probably hearing about this figure, and to them this is quite a sort of biblical figure. Somebody perhaps other people in the playground might be likening this person to scary figures that they've heard about. And I think what's important is to try and bring it away from that and not sort of blow this thing up like there's this horrendous villain. And partly we have a responsibility there as well as parents, I think, to make sure that we aren't talking about things in front of our children or that they aren't hearing things, because they will pick up from us what our opinions are. And I would say it's best to sort of discuss the conflict, the arguments in the area of the world, the difficulties, rather than kind of create this big bad sort of boogeyman kind of concept in their mind.
Thanks for your time, Honey Lancaster-James, social and behavioural psychologist and broadcaster. Let's come back to your calls. Also, exactly what should be the strategy now as concerns Vladimir Putin? Trevor in New Elton, what would you be recommending? Trevor, good morning.
international community, companies, sport, etc. And his persona of needing a lot of that, as you say, and your callers are saying, like a hard man, he thinks what he's done is right, all that kind of stuff. Well, he won't have that international stage anymore after the conflict has finished, however it ends. So whatever the strategy is moving forward, they've got to think, is it going to be something that will appeal to him post-conflict? And I don't think that there will be a strategy that can do that, because as I say, for example, BP's not just going to reinvest all that money and go back to norm in the company again. They're out. And I think a lot of people are just out now. So he's going to look at himself as, well, I'm maybe not the man I should have been at the end of this. And I think regime change, I think the people of Russia and possibly even the Russian army probably need to kind of stand up to him a little bit more. And I don't know if it will. I don't know if it would happen, but
I hear what you say. You'd have to be pretty brave, because I think you'd probably be nervous going to hit a bullet in the back of your head if you did it. Trevor, thank you for your input on that. Ali, coming to you in just a moment. Gary in Darlington, I'm a military veteran like Ben Wallace. I would expect him to unequivocally denounce Liz Truss's support for Britain's assisting with the military efforts in Ukraine. Remember, Liz Truss is a foreign secretary of a NATO country. Her remarks trivialise the seriousness and gravity of military operations, grossly undermine NATO's non-interventionist stance, and made her sound like a populist without a proper grip of the situation. Charlie Stone in Bury says Putin is generally agreed as terrified of COVID. He also looks wide-eyed. His face is puffy. Could he be on steroids? This could be very bad. Could equal psychosis. It's interesting, Mr. Stone, because when I saw that, there's a picture of him taken, I know I'm off mic, yesterday. Here it is. There's a picture yesterday on the front page of the newspaper. And I was trying to work, I thought it was possibly Botox for him. But I wonder if it is steroids. His face is. I wonder if he is on some kind of medication. Who knows? Ali in Letchworth, what do you want to say, Ali? Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Nick. How are you?
Good, thank you. Tell me about Vladimir Putin in your view.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, nobody knows what he's going to do next. The only thing I could say is, don't you think it would be a lovely world if we can give the same coverage to probably worse atrocities that are happening currently in the world, such as the war in Yemen, where millions of innocent children are under siege, bombs being thrown at them by a barbaric regime like the Saudi regime. I appreciate we're sending billions of pounds of weapons under that regime.